All right. Okay. I am now broadcasting live. So I will come closer so we can hear. This volume is a problem with this camera. Okay. You are Mo.
Yes.
Oh, wait. I'm supposed to ask. Who are you?
I am Mo.
And we actually did this interview, only I lost it. Because you know why? I found out I have a mute button that I didn't know I had. So I think that was probably what happened. And that's my puppy
Oh, my
Austin.
puppy on me?
So,
Spoke quick.
and we can ask Pablo to elaborate, but
Yes.
do you want to say what happened to you today?
Not today. It happened a couple days ago.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not sure exactly what day. It's been a rough ride since. Well, my dog and me were at the park, and I had 12 police officers surround the area. They took two dogs that weren't mine, and then my dog. And they said because people didn't have vaccines, uh, licenses on their dogs, and my dog was wrapped around my leg, and they said that I wasn't holding the leash, which the officer straight up lied to the other officers. I said, "Is it okay for it to be strapped around my leg?" One officer said yes, and then he asked the female officer that said it wasn't strapped on my leg, and she said no, she wasn't holding it. It wasn't in her hand, is what she said. So they took my dog and said they were going to put him on quarantine for 10 days. And I could come back and get him, but it's going to be $15 a day after the 6 days. So I'm going to end up with $60 I'm going to have to pay, and they said they might give him more citations. He had a rabies vaccine certificate or collar on him. He had a license, which is good. The rabies vaccine is good for 3 years, which I've heard proof of, and his temperament shot I have proof of too.
You have it. I saw it.
Yeah,
I saw it.
yeah,
So I know you have it.
yeah.
Okay, so
And he was wearing them when they showed up.
when we were talking earlier, you were talking about how much you need that dog.
Yeah, he's a service animal. I've had him for the last year and a half. I've been abused by my ex, and he was abused too by my ex. We both were, and he's the only comfort I've had through it all. I have seizures. I have emotional problems because of being in foster care for 18 years. I have to have a support animal, something to hold when I'm emotionally sensitive, something to
And-
hug and love.
And I think they call that a companion animal.
Yes, it is.
Right. So,
Which is a service animal also. Look on the service animal website.
oh, okay. So, anyway, you have also used the dog for defense to
Yes,
keep you
protect myself
safe,
at night.
because you know that you can sleep.
My dog will wake up if someone walks too close to me. He'll
Right.
start growling, warning someone to stand back.
So you mentioned the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, of many things actually, because one of the things is when Mo got here, I realized immediately that some of the skills that she has from being on the street and taking care of herself, she could help other people who are here. And so I asked you, do you think that you could help folks out who are new? We get a lot of people who are brand new homeless here, and young kids, and people who get kicked out by their parents the moment they turn 18 or whatever. And
Or kicked out of domestic violence shelters to be put in the situation. Oh, I got kicked out of, I'm homeless now because I got kicked out of a domestic violence shelter because I had contact with my ex-abuser. When I was telling him I was at a different McDonald's when I saw him drive by, I wanted to take the heat off of that area so I can get to a safe place. And I woke up to get a no camping ticket in Vancouver, Washington to see my ex in the car, waking up scared. It scared me to death. And then I came down here instantly right after.
you mean your ex found you where you were camping?
And I woke up to the police having him in the back of their car and giving me a camping ticket.
Wow. Why was he in the back of their car?
Obviously, he had a warrant because of the cyber stalking and telephone harassment.
Okay. So they found him, and he had been lurking around.
Yes. And
So-
they actually told me I would get kicked out of my shelter if I did not give them proof that he was harassing me, because that's putting everyone else's life in jeopardy, and obviously they're pretty sure he knew where I was at. It's not
Right.
really like they had it hidden.
Right. Okay. So they don't hide, and then he finds you, and then they blame you for endangering other people.
And they
Okay.
kicked me out.
All right. So Now,
They moved my out date early. They didn't kick me out. They moved my out date early. So it's the same thing.
right.
Yeah.
It's
So I
like-
can actually go back to a DV
it's
shelter
like saying
in
we didn't kick you
Vancouver
out of bed
if
with
it
your
ever
bread on
happens
springs.
again. It won't.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been in the foster care system. How long were you in?
From 3 months old till the day after I was 18, on and off. We went back to my mom. Like they let me move back with her like 2 or 3 times, but she went back on that. And my
Sorry.
sisters were molested and stuff. Users went to jail, and that's the last time. And I told the school counselor, so to save her life. I mean, you know, she promised not have me not tell anyone, but I made sure they didn't make. She believes I didn't tell anyone. She believes she was the one that opened up, which.
Good for them.
You
To
know, they
respect
did
that.
they did it proper. Oh, come here, baby. Come on.
This is my Austin that Mo's got.
Babies.
So okay, so you told me some horror stories, and
I gotta stand up a
so
little.
did this.
Here we go.
No, it's cool.
There we go.
So did another gal who stays here, who'd been in for a few years, not that long. But can you tell us now? Foster kids end up out here.
Yes, because usually I mean, they were even saying on the news that with all the difficulty with expenses and everything, every kid's moving back to their parents' house. Well, most foster kids that aged out of the system don't have a family after that. The state of Oregon is their parent. Was their legal guardian, and now there's no one after that. There's independent living groups that teach you how to cook rarely. I mean, it's not really welcoming in most of those places.
Right. So now, if I understand correctly, if you're in the foster care system, you're at risk of becoming an adult without having some of the skills of taking care of
Yes.
myself. So why
Skills
is
to
that?
cook. I mean, because they don't prepare you for adulthood. They believe that maybe you're going to get adopted out, so they don't teach you the skills you need. I don't understand it either. When I was 17, they put me in a transitional age youth program where they taught me how to get resources in the community, food boxes, and my ID, my apartment, getting to school. But they never taught us how to cook. They didn't teach us budgeting. They didn't teach us any of that. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
So, and
How to survive on food stamps and still be able to eat all month long.
right, that's true. That's true.
That no one, I really think, really even knows. I mean, they don't give $200 for one person homeless for food stamps isn't enough.
And if
Especially
you don't
with the
have,
kinds of foods you have to cook or eat
right.
to do it. I mean,
Right.
you got to buy a $3 burrito every meal if you want to eat healthy.
Right, okay. That I do know about because I have a kitchen and I'm able to cook and I've saved a lot of money.
I saw your website. We
Did
were reading
you?
it.
Yeah, we were
we were
checking
reading
it
it
out.
last night.
Really?
Yeah.
How awesome.
And he's like, I know she wrote that.
That's a
Talking
fun
about how
part.
lovely your food, what your favorite foods were.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
What was it?
The part that struck out was when you said you'd rather eat hatching alien spider eggs.
The
like, oh,
genetically
I remember
modified food.
I'd rather ingest alien spider eggs.
And he said that
Hatching.
before we read it, and he's like, "Oh, it's in there."
That is funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so yeah, and I have learned how to stretch food, but it involves cooking as opposed to getting prepared foods.
Yes.
So if you're on food stamps but you don't have a place to cook, now what would you think if, let's say, Occupy Portland had access to a kitchen?
And people could put their food stamps together and just make big meals together.
Or you could even just
Or-
go cook for yourself
Yeah,
if you wanted.
that would be like
The refrigerator.
the ultimate, you know.
Because-
People can actually eat and, I mean,
Right.
be healthy, let alone. I mean,
I think that would be a great thing is if we could actually not rent out, but like a library, check out whatever, reserve time for the kitchen,
Mhm.
for ourselves. Now, granted, we can have meals together,
oh yeah.
and that makes a lot of sense. But I think the kitchen needs to be thought of also as enabling people to have nutritious food on a budget.
And also maybe classes in there to teach people how to do it.
Absolutely.
And the public is welcome to go to those.
I can do one on how to make a brick of cheese last a year.
Oh really?
Seriously, not a whole year. This is alien spider egg girl talking. I'm known to exaggerate, although that's not. Well, maybe I have to think about it. I have to think about
I
it.
think it's more nutritional than.
Have to have the FDA check out the spider egg.
Well,
I
you know
mean,
what?
we're-
If an
we're-
alien told me that they were safe versus a guy from Monsanto, I'd probably believe the alien first. So
Oh, yeah.
anyway, or somebody from the FDA.
Well, they
Give me
don't.
the
They
eggs.
don't monitor anything. They
Right.
only monitor it if anything, any questions are raised, any flags are raised. That's
Right.
only when they get called.
Cosmetics. They're putting all these horrible toxic
Oh, yeah.
chemicals
Oh.
in them, and they don't say anything unless they prove already that it's dangerous. It's like, how is anybody going to link the fact that they have a cyst on their ear or whatever to the fact that they use mascara? Who's going to know? Anyway, whatever. Okay, that's a whole different FDA.
Don't
the
watch the news. You'll
Fraud
see a
and
lot of
Death
cake on the screen.
Association. Yeah, awful. Okay, so we're gonna possibly look for a place with a kitchen, and there is such a place, being looked at, and I think the lease is over in August. Like we
Well, I
cannot-
mean, with so many schools that are just sitting there, you have all the resources right there. I mean, you could house them.
one school.
House a school. Enough of the people that are down here just alone and cook meals.
Right. Now,
I mean, we
here's
could raise
thing,
the
though.
money for the electricity, no
I
problem.
can't get consensus that here we are, a political action, right? We're an outreach to the public, we're a humanitarian mission, we're a safe space, we're a protest. I mean, all
Save
of
the
these
earth,
things.
pick
We're
up
a
the garbage.
prayer
Yeah.
vigil. Okay, all of those things, and yet I've got like 5 people token and blowing smoke at the passersby, and I'm like, okay, can we get some consensus that everybody who walks by here doesn't need to get a mouthful of pot, in their eye or whatever. So how do you expect us to run something like a school full of where people could actually lie on a cot or something? Don't you think we've got problems with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, but you don't smoke cigarettes inside either.
Right.
I mean, there's medical patients that they're homeless and there's nowhere in the city for them to go smoke.
right.
Where's the legal place for us to smoke when we're medical marijuana
I'd
patients?
imagine that a place like a school would have some of the similar rules as St. Francis. It's private property, so you can be kicked off legally.
Oh, okay. So
So-
we'd have some backing
Well,
if we
yeah.
wanted to say we can kick you out, don't do that.
But
It's not
also
like we
you
kick
can
people
also
out of
have
legal,
a
but we can't kick people out of
you can
legal.
have also a designated area for the proven medical holders, medical
Yeah.
card holders. So they're the only ones that could go in that tent
But-
and medicate because
So you just had cops
But you-
screw with you. So what do you
Oh,
think
yeah.
about the relationship that Occupy should have with police in situations like that?
there's not really any. I believe that people need to stay with the people that the police are harassing, and someone needs to have a camera on at all times.
What if somebody needs to call the cops on somebody? Do you support them doing that?
No, I believe that you should get your brothers and everyone out here will. We'll find if someone stole something. There's gonna be a bag check, and our family's gonna back each other up. No one's gonna steal anything out of that bag while it's getting checked. But we're gonna prove someone's innocence if not they're, we man our own people. There's no need to call a cop. I mean, someone could be dying. They need them. It's not
Right.
death. It's not a life or death situation.
Right.
Even though the non-emergency is the same as an emergency number.
Interesting. That's a very good point. That would save the police for the true
Well, yeah.
emergency. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, they certainly don't care about rescuing people's
I know when I
property
was a
anyway.
kid, I used to call, when I was 6 years old, I called the cops like 10 times. I was molested. That's why I called the cops. My molester stood there the whole time. Cops did never take him out of the room. They kept telling me I'm a bad person for calling, but only if they took him out of the room I could have told them what really happened. And that's why I called a billion times when I was a kid. And then once I realized they weren't going to help me, I've never had trust in the police since. Because my life, my sister's life, I am proud that she's safe, and I wouldn't be so messed up in my head if I didn't go through what I did. But, I tried as hard as I could. I tried every route. I even ended up, the end result, when I was 6, I told them how to make meth measurements out of a baby bottle. That's the only reason I got taken from my family, is because I finally, found something that they believe so we can leave and not be molested anymore.
So you gave them the recipe for making meth out of
Yeah.
a baby bottle. That pretty
At
much
6 years
proves
old.
that you've seen too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, wow.
That's the only thing that they actually kept us after that. They never took us back.
Wow.
And
That's
I was
pretty
we were
resourceful.
being molested. I didn't even know I was being molested for the last couple of years, and now I remember it all as if it's happening yesterday. You know?
Oh,
I mean, just little things remind me of. I mean, most half my life I don't even remember the abuse that foster care and the residentials. I was locked in rooms for months, 3 months at a time, with a drain to pee and poop in.
where?
It, Christie School. It's a children's home. It's they have
Group
cottage. There's a group home there. It's residential treatment center for misbehaved youth. It used to actually be an orphanage. It's on the Merrillhurst campus. The property is owned by the nuns.
How old? How long ago?
I was 14.
Okay. So recently, I mean, fairly
I'm
recent.
23 now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is they locked you
In a room,
for how long?
3 months.
How what do you mean what do you mean locked in a room?
It's called a quiet room. It has 2 windows, a camera in it, and a big heavy door that they could deadbolt lock. Yeah.
And they had a bathroom inside?
No, they had a drain. And if I forgot that it was mealtime, which there was no clock, I'd miss a meal, and they said, "Oh well, it's too late now, and now you gotta wait until the next meal." So I've got about 1 meal a day.
Your bathroom was a drain?
My bathroom was a drain, and they wouldn't let me go in their staff bathroom to go take a poo poo.
What about water? Do you have water?
Oh yeah, they gave me water. Yeah.
I mean, like
But
to wash your hands? Was
no,
there a faucet?
No water, nothing like that.
Okay, so
So it's like
is
a
that
4.
condition?
It's a room from here to here to there, and it has a drain in the center.
That's the bathroom.
That's the bathroom.
And
And
is
people,
that still
and they
happening?
actually put me in one of those rooms when there was someone else poop smeared all over the walls.
Good lord.
Yeah. And
Is that still happening?
Huh?
Is that still happening?
I'm probably pretty damn sure it is.
This is a Christie house.
Yes, the Christie School.
Christie School. So, I guess I didn't have the chat room on. Let me get it on. Well, hello, Mr. Cakes. Moonjin Cakes is here, and we are on OPDX Live. I had a feeling. Oh, we got lots of viewers. How awesome. Okay, so, do you get like PTSD type symptoms?
I have, yeah.
And what about talking about this stuff?
It doesn't really trigger. It makes me more anxious, curious of. Hopefully, I'm not telling too much, and my life may be at risk because people's careers are built off of my existence.
Yeah.
I mean, the Portland Children's Levy, 3 people that are in charge of it were actually the ones that stood back while people were hurting me, and they didn't even do the work that they're supposed to do in those places, and yet they're in charge of funds to say that where the money goes to. It used to be the Portland Children's Fund, and then it changed to the Portland Children's Levy. Ted, Allison, or Alyssa. I mean, I remember these people. Those were the 3. I mean, there's 3 people that stood back and watched them. We all were like, why are they not doing anything? And why are they not getting their hands dirty? Well, obviously they had to step on a couple people to get their positions now. So I'm kind of worried about my life. I know the lawyer that I had my whole childhood, that I had with my CPS case when I was an adult, the caseworker is the head of the law firm now. And yet she didn't even respond in court. I mean, the whole courtroom was laughing but her. The CPS worker's boss and my lawyer.
What's
even the judge was
Children
laughing.
Protective Service.
Yes, because
Laughing.
I had a permanently ill child that had a G-tube, a coarctation of his aorta, a hole in his heart, and was 1 pound 14 ounces at birth. I stayed in the hospital every day for 3 months, not holding his hand because we couldn't even touch, you know, because he was so sensitive. And then they took him and fought it in court, and they said my lack of natural supports makes me incapable of being a parent to a permanently ill child.
So this is what we were talking
So
about.
me not having parents makes me not be able to have my own kids. But they put me in the position where I wouldn't have no parents. And if I wasn't on all the medicines that they say don't give to anyone under 18 for 10 years that they had me on it, 7 different pills at the same time, I probably wouldn't have had a sick baby.
So,
Because I've never
Foster
done
care.
drugs. I mean, I'm a medical patient. That's it.
so let me just see if I got this straight here. You are an abused child who is a public enemy for calling the cops, apparently. Put into foster care, children's school, and so forth, and
I
abused
consider them-
there.
Yeah.
And then you had a baby, but baby's sick while you're on
I was not on pills when I was on at that time. It was 2 years that I wasn't even on pills. Like, my body's still probably recovering from the 10 years of being on medicine.
Right. Okay.
I mean, we were guinea pigs. We don't have parents to say yes or no on pills, so it was up to the caseworkers, and they usually fax the signature. They don't
Was
come
it
check
you
on us
who's-
every month like legally they're supposed to.
Okay, I had a friend here who told me that her caseworker set her up to get punished. Like, have you heard of anything like that where caseworkers are intentionally
Well,
getting?
they'll say, oh yeah, run away, but then they'll call the police and you'll go to juvie. They'll say, yeah, you can go, you know, but then turn around and the cop's there and you'll go to juvie. I heard all
What is the point of that? Is that just sadistic
it's,
or?
well, because if they don't want, usually it's at that point is because they don't have much foster homes, and you're gonna go sit in a building for a couple hours, and hopefully there's a home available for you. And that's when usually kids are feeling unwanted, and that's when they run away. At 10 years old is usually the beginning of that unwanted feeling and running away part. I mean, I was listening to the police scanner, and I heard that over by a Wendy's, a little 10-year-old kid runs away. I've never heard anything else on the scanner after that. So obviously they just let him go, or, you know, I mean, as the caseworker, I mean, just allows it. I mean, you're putting a child's life at risk. They might as well open up a place that all these youth that don't feel like it's right to be in those places, that they could be in a group home, that you could teach them the skills. I remember my dad moved out of his home. He had 10 siblings. He was 10 years old and moved out and took care of himself. I know when I was 10 years old, I could make a campfire and I could build my own cabin. I wish they gave me that opportunity in my life. I wouldn't be as messed up in my head now if I was able to take care of myself.
So let's just say you were free to camp somewhere. How much of a life do you think that would be if you didn't have the restriction of camping that are imposed right now?
I wouldn't be a pest to society.
I don't think you're a pest.
A pest. Well, if we're sleeping on the side, we're pests. They spray us with pesticides. We're pests.
Oh, right.
We're pests. If they spray us with
Okay.
pesticides, we're pests.
So I've talked a lot about that. What was that?
The machine, the vehicle they used
That's
once
here.
has been. It is used to spray pesticides in the right, which is around park areas, the streets and the sidewalks around park areas, it's called the right of way. Parks and Recreation is in charge, which they're together with Portland City Water Bureau, which they have to get the call from above saying where and when, and they have to post it within I'm not sure how many blocks they have to post it before they spray, but even if they sprayed us with water out of that machine, it's only used for spraying pesticides.
Okay, so
which if it could be diluted pesticide.
What was the container that you saw?
It was a big white thing that was like that.
Okay.
And it had sprays, like, I mean, he was 2 lanes over and it still got over the sidewalk, which passed that line
Right.
that we aren't supposed to cross.
I have seen several times people sleeping out here get intentionally sprayed with water, or I thought it was water.
It could be water, but the holding tank itself could still have pesticides in it, even
Because
if it
that's what
only
it's
has
for.
water in it. Yep.
You looked up the company.
Yep.
You looked
The
up
only
the
vehicle that looks like that, PNR is in charge of. Parks and
Okay.
Recreation.
Okay, so there is a chance that we had some sadistic PNR driver spraying you guys with pesticide at night, and you got sick.
A Water Bureau vehicle drove by before every time that vehicle drives by. Portland City Water Bureau usually drives by maybe 5 minutes, between 1 and 5 minutes before that vehicle is driven by every time I've noticed too.
Really?
Yes,
That's very weird.
yes.
So
And also, I looked up online
Anyway,
about.
so you're not a pest, you were
No,
saying, and
no.
you wouldn't be a pest?
No.
Because you would be out, what, in the woods or in a field or...
Growing my own veggies and surviving on my own. I wouldn't even need to come out here for clothing. You know, I wouldn't need to come out here, let alone, I mean, just. I would love to be in the middle of nowhere where I could watch the birds and listen to the crickets every night and not hear the cars and the noise of the city.
Well, why would you be in the city at all? Why are you
Because
downtown?
I'm stuck here.
Why are you stuck here?
I'm on probation. Because the moment I turned 18, when I was in the hospital, when they took my kid from me, I went to, after they took him from the hospital, I went to Emmanuel and told them, my chest is hurting, I'm not feeling good, I need some help, please. They just took my baby, I don't know how to respond. I have anxiety disorder and my chest is hurting real bad, can you please check me out? I did not get seen by a doctor. They came in and were like, I have PTSD. They all instantly came and like started going for grabbing my arms, telling me, oh, well, you need to leave the hospital and all this stuff. As I was laying there connected to a heart machine, checking my heart rate and all that. And they tripped on the machine and it went flying. So now I'm on probation from that. I've been on for 5 years.
So how has it been out here?
And it was the CPS worker that called is what was said. CPS worker called.
Right.
Yeah.
Way to go, protective service.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Way to go. So out here, how's it been,
Out here?
community-wise?
I feel safe with my brothers and sisters near me. I mean, I consider everyone my brothers and sisters if they're not evil,
Right.
you know. And I feel safest with people around, and if I'm alone, I start panicking and I have to go find people so I'm around, you know, because I don't want to be setting aside because that's when the cops mess with me.
Right. And speaking of cops messing with you, if you guys just tuned in, her dog was taken by the cops. And do you mind saying that again real quick? And Pablo, we should ask Pablo.
Pablo is probably better at explaining the whole situation.
You're still
Oh, what
distraught.
the cop said is they're taking your dog?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, from the beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning. Can you
Right.
explain?
What happened?
From the
Can
beginning,
someone-
exactly what
from her-
happened?
Sorry?
Well, you explain to the
Well-
part where the cops started talking about until after
Okay.
the cops and all of them
Makes me
about-
want to
Well-
punch something.
I was down at the waterfront and I had my dog's leash wrapped around my leg, and a female officer, there was several officers. There was a car that pulled up and a couple bike cops, and they started taking people's animals, 2 different people's dogs away because they said they didn't have them tagged, and one wasn't tied to one of the persons
I gotta hear
themselves. So they took them, and I'm sitting there crying like, how sad can you take someone else's animal? And I was like, well, brother, you can come hug on my dog if you need some love, you know. He's like, he wrote a sign and said, just smile, which and then the animal control comes over and checks out my dog, sees if he's vicious or anything, sees his tags, he has a license and a rabies tag, which is good for 3 years, the rabies is, which I have proof of too. They said that they're gonna quarantine him for 10 days because he bit someone. And then they said, well, we could take him or you could walk him there. And I was like, oh, I gotta say goodbye. And I walked him up and put him in the car. And they said, I can't have him back for another 10 days. And after 6 days, I have to pay $15 a day to get him back.
And after 6 days, you're at risk of losing him?
Yes, because it says on the papers in the small print down below on when they took him, that if they were taken, that if you don't come and claim your animal in 6 days, you lose him, which you have to actually go to Troutdale Humane Society and physically point out your animal.
Okay, so you've heard that some people have got their dogs right away. Who
Yes.
were those folks? So the two,
I'm not sure.
the 2 people who were with you?
One person got their animal. I'm not sure about the other one.
Okay.
They went right away down there and got their animal. And they said they were quarantined too, which I'm not totally sure because I didn't see the papers.
So you called.
And
that
they
day.
said, oh, well, you're not able, you can't, we already talked to you, Ms. Gilbert. We need you to show back up in 10 days because I don't have a phone or an address for them to send me any information. So they said, come back in 10 days when the quarantine's up.
Okay.
Which the lady
But you
was
had the rabies vaccination tags on him.
tags
and you have
and
the paperwork with
ID
you.
on him, and I have the paperwork right
Okay.
now.
So
And he's a
tomorrow,
service animal.
tomorrow, now I have a truck and I'm gonna try to spange for $5. We don't have any people here.
I got 5 for gas. I
Great.
know that.
Really?
Yep.
All right. Well, then we're done.
Yep.
I have. I will get gas tomorrow morning, and we will go to Troutdale, and we'll give it a shot before I get home, and then I'll take you as far as Clackamas, and you can hop on the green line like I do, and we'll go find out if they'll let us have your dog right then.
Okay.
Because your dog has been a guest on our show.
That's an
Pete.
awesome dog.
Yeah, Petey. We
Yes.
love Pete.
So
He's a love. So Pablo, fill
Support
in.
Peter.
Peter boy.
So okay, Pablo. We
So-
love Pablo. You guys have seen Interview with Pablo. Is one of our best. You got like 30 viewers that day. Okay.
So last stream, I'm sure you're wondering why the police were in the waterfront, seemingly on a mission to take a bunch of dogs. They had about 12 cops there. They're in full force, dead set on taking dogs. And so, as Mo was bawling and crying, just got her dog taken away, I was asking one of the cops candidly why they were doing this, how they could do this. And one of the cops, he looked around and he had this look on his face like he was almost having a moment of conscience for a second. And he said that the city has a new policy. They're trying to get the quote-unquote dirty poor people and travelers out of the waterfront parks for Fleet Week. And because the city knows that people are really attached to their dogs, the city is taking dogs away so people won't want to come back.
Wait a minute. Did he actually say that that's why they're taking? Or are you
Yes.
just filling in the
No,
gap?
no,
No, that's
why-
exactly
that's,
what
that's almost dead exactly what he fucking said. Yeah.
Did they actually
And
say
another-
dirty poor people and
Dirty
travelers?
poor people and
And
travelers.
And because of Fleet Week, they're trying to get them out of the city, so they are taking their dogs.
Off the waterfront, so they're taking dogs.
So the
And then
people
they,
would
and then
leave.
the officer made a joke next to the cop or next to him, talking about how it's a pretty effective strategy or something. I don't remember what he said, but basically how it's an effective strategy.
Didn't another officer come up and try to hush him after? Like,
Yeah. After that, one of the other officers came up and like tried to hush him, like, dude, you weren't supposed to say that. Like, we're not supposed to tell people the truth of why we're taking their animals, because we don't want poor
Wow.
people in the waterfront parks.
Wow. And I just found out recently that they have stopped artists, including like painters, breakdancers, belly dancers, whatever, from performing outside of Saturday Market for tips. Okay, so they're making it illegal to do street theater or anything else because it supposedly competes with their precious, capitalist thing
Huh.
going on.
Because
So-
those people didn't buy a license.
oh,
Right,
last-
because you know what? You'll get beaten up if you have a breakdancing license. That's just wrong. Unless you're a twist, you can't do that.
Also, last week at the drum circle, the
Oh, yeah.
police showed up at 12:49 or 48, 49. 12:49 p.m. saying they're enforcing the 12:01 parks are closed rule,
Well, that part.
which they pretty much cleared everyone out of the park. Which down the street where they were telling us to go camp with the other people down under the bridge. I mean, which majority of them down there, I don't want to be biased or judgmental, but most of them are drug addicts, and I wouldn't be down there alone.
Well, that's one of the things that we do here is we say, look, you can't just push people away into the dark crevices just because the Portland Business Alliance doesn't think that it's savory to see homeless people. And here's another thing. What they think is ugly. We had Gary Crane, the property manager, who comes out in his suit and and he is complaining because we have newspapers and we have tarps and they're being folded and they're wet, sleeping bag wet. So there's
Well-
a couple of people.
Why don't you find a covered area so none of our stuff is wet, so we can all stay dry at night?
So he's talking about how it looks messy and bad, and I was like, well, Mr. Crane, that is why we're here, because you can see that, yes, it does look bad. That's what a folded, wet tarp looks like. That's not, this is newspaper. Do you know why this newspaper is here? But
to stay dry from beneath.
and the conduction. To not have all your body heat sucked away by the pavement. And he's clueless to how necessary that is. He looks and he sees just dirty, sloppy people. But there's really no neat way of having newspaper and tarp and sleeping bag on a sidewalk. Although I have to say, it looks pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, I make
Out
sure
here.
I clean up every morning.
Yeah.
And I make sure everything's picked up, cigarette butts and all.
So you gonna sleep here tonight?
Yeah.
Right on. Right on. Well, anyway.
miss
Yeah.
you
Well, I
guys.
gotta love on someone's dog. I miss mine so much.
Okay, so I don't know what exactly Moonjin is writing, but the first one was "that sounds awful." The second one was "holy star, star, star." So I don't know what that originally was before the censor. Maybe it was him. I don't know if maybe that's how he swears. He goes star, 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 shh, star, star, star,
Shiitake mushrooms.
Sorry about the comments.
and then he goes holy star, star, star. Star, star, star. So I don't-
Try to put a space in between it.
oh, he's got a space.
Holy shiitake mushrooms.
Oh, in
How about
between
that
each
one?
letter.
That one always
Oh
works.
yeah, then we
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah.
Excellent. Except he's actually one of the mods, so I don't want to encourage.
We'll skip a few letters in between. You know,
Yeah.
a star, a letter, a star, a letter.
Oh,
And then we'll go what word is
yeah.
being blanked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Crikey. No, anyway. So yeah, this is absolutely shocking. So, how many people who are kids who are on the street do you think are victims of a foster care system?
Majority of the street kids actually is what I'm getting. I talked to a lot
I'll
of
get-
people,
sorry.
and majority of the
I'll get the
street
leash if you
kids,
Thanks.
majority of the street
You got
kids are used to be in foster care. Majority of them.
Okay, and they're getting the same treatment.
Yep.
They're getting locked in rooms for 3 months at a time with a drain.
I was pretty bad. I don't think that long. I was pretty rebellious completely from them, saying I have to be in my room 6 hours of the day, quiet time, to us doing meetings. I mean, we didn't watch TV, but maybe a half hour a day. I mean, like, it was strict schedule, like we were in military school,
Yeah.
but without the
And that's
loud
what I heard.
voices and.
That's what I heard from another person. One of the things that's really bugging me about this information that I keep getting from
You got my
folks
jacket?
is that people don't understand that there is life like existence, like life support, for example, and then there's life like living, like what a human being needs to be physically and psychologically well. And so when people say, "Oh, go to a shelter," it's like, okay, that's human
I have my
warehousing.
dog. That's why I wasn't in a shelter. My PO was trying to get me into a shelter. He even vouched as my dog being my service animal. I take him to the meat building. I take him in there through security and all. You know, he doesn't have to be registered to be considered a service animal. He just has to provide me a service, which is protecting my life and keeping my emotionally support me. You know, emotionally keeping me positive. I see babies and I cry.
Now you don't go
I
to
see
shelters
babies and I
though,
cry. I
because
don't
you
go
said
to-
it's dangerous.
Yeah,
You had a stalker or something.
I don't go to free places to eat like the
Oh.
missions, because I've been followed for blocks after blocks, and I've had to run, duck, dodge. I mean, so I don't have registered sex offenders following me everywhere for miles.
Wow. Okay.
So
And
I'd
you-
rather starve than I'll spend some money before I go to some
Yeah.
of those places.
Right.
The only ones that are open every day are usually the ones I have issues with.
You ever want to eat?
I go to the
Me and
youth
Pablo
places.
can escort you.
Yeah, but she still has it.
Yeah, they'll still be staring at
If
me
they're staring,
constantly.
if they're staring, I can go up and say something along the lines of you have
My
something
ex
to
used
say.
to threaten to beat them up, and they still stared.
Yeah, it just sounds like a terribly unhealthy. But that's the thing, is that everybody who throws out these quick knee-jerk ideas is not actually there to investigate whether those ideas are viable.
Well,
And-
I mean, I go to the youth services. Those are usually the safest places for me.
Okay.
But I'm 23. 23 is the cutoff. 24 is also a cutoff for most of those places.
Okay.
So real soon here, I'll be stuck having to go to those places.
Okay. All right. So anyway, in the meantime, we have some plans to make the vigil better, bigger, better. So we should have some comforts of home shortly.
Home's where your heart is. It doesn't mean a roof over your head.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's one of
It's
the
where your
reasons
friends and
that people
family are
are
and where you feel safe.
people are turning
and
away from the
wanted.
term homeless right now because it's taking something away from the fact that people do make homes even when they don't have a roof over their head. So, I'm hearing houseless, and I thought, well, that's crazy because I don't have a house. I have an apartment that I rent, but I think unhoused is what Dignity Village
Man,
calls
that's-
it. And that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about, not necessarily
Well, I
not
mean,
having
they
a
made
home.
this building over there. Remember, they built it that they have a majority of a lot of homeless people that don't even have incomes that are being housed there, which a lot of they have half of
Where?
it. Pablo, what's that place that they're explaining
I see a
the
roof here personally
have
that could be perfect.
the housing that they put a lot of homeless people in? They pretty much $3 million to build that building.
No, it was like 40 something.
Oh, okay. You're talking about
44 million.
You're talking about the
rooms.
Bud Clark Commons.
Yeah, Bud Clark
And then they spent another 3 to get to go for
Privatized.
I think I got that confused with
Oh.
the housing.
the
thing.
second
Oh.
3 goes to like Sisters of the Road doing something, or no, not Sisters of the Road. Who is it? But anyway, a different group, but same area.
But with how many rooms there are and all that, I mean, you could.
130 for $41 million.
But with all that, you could have made just bigger areas and just a few bathrooms. And I mean, you could have made
Right.
it dorm style instead of personal boxes.
Right. Well, there's no excuse for
You know?
130 people to be living in $41 million.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
we already know that was a terrible. Probably some
Aren't they
contractors
doing
are
something right now?
making money for the people who made that.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that there was an
I mean,
inside deal.
They probably,
Building that.
put some of that aside,
Yeah.
and extra claimed on it like they do a lot of things.
Right. And it's kind of the same as the loo. I go down to the loo.
Oh,
it's
my
closed.
privacy is invaded. The other day, someone was standing next to the loo, taking pictures of someone that was in there. And all you have to do is sit down real low like this, and you can see what's going on in there. Everything. That is
Really?
an invasion of privacy. Yeah.
I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah. You could look up someone's skirt. You could look at what's going on, and they're sitting right next to it.
Interesting. I didn't think so
Yeah.
because I looked down to find out.
Well,
if
I don't sit on the toilet seat. I'm bending like this, and I can see everything going on outside while I'm like right at eye level of everything I don't want no one to see.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean,
That's-
I know
that's
it's
horrible.
invaded. If anyone wanted to peek, they could.
So $70,000 to build a little silver, booth, and that thing, there's like 5 of them now. $70,000.
$70,000 each.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
And 80.
oh wow.
But the person who cleans them, whoever's cleaning them is getting $70,000 a year. Which is a great job if you can get it. So anyway,
Well, all you need is a pressure washer and it's clean.
I don't know.
That's all you need with those loos. All you need is a pressure washer. Make sure the toilet
Well,
paper's out of there when you're pressure washing.
Apply for the job. So okay, so that.
That's a cleaner job than the honey bucket dudes.
Yeah.
And they get paid a little bit.
So here's a thing about the loo. They're always closed. I've gone down there and have it closed, and then I go down to Ash Street.
They're supposed to be 24 hours open.
Right.
And they're locked, closed, no one's in there?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
That happens a lot.
I heard that they put the blue lights in there so drug or needle users could not do their drugs in there.
Yeah. Only very very white-skinned people can do drugs in the loo. So if you have anything but very clear skin, you might be able to, your complexion, but I'm just slightly too dark. No,
Yeah,
seriously.
I'm good with even knowing that.
Yeah. Thanks for the offer.
Thanks for the offer, but I'm good. I don't even want to fathom. I was just hoping to know that doesn't go on in there because the lights are that color.
Yeah.
That's the only comfort I got out of it.
Well, yeah. Except
But
I've seen
I
I've
can't
seen
even go to a free
needles.
place to eat without getting sexually harassed. Why am I going to walk to a place that they can watch me pee?
Yeah.
Why would and then there's one other bathroom 2 others right by the Portland, the Clean and Safe building, which is always locked now, which you have drug users in there. You see needles in the garbage can right there.
Right.
And then right under the Hawthorne, which you got green stuff dripping on your head if you're leaning too far forward when you're pooping. And it
My
smells
God.
like booze. I mean, you could I bet you there's so much drugs on the walls you could scrape it
So
off.
they are not, yikes,
Yeah.
they are not opening the bathrooms. There's one in the parking structure, 2 doors down, 2 blocks down. There is the one at Terry Chapman and Lonsdale. They've
Which
only
close at
opened.
midnight. Which sometimes they're open all night with
Sometimes
no
they
lights on them.
are open, yes they are. But the question is, okay, you could have, instead of spending, say,
I'll be a registered sex
quarter.
offender if I have to pee real bad.
Yeah, okay, so that's another thing. If you live outside and you can't find a bathroom because there aren't any provided, and you use the outdoors,
Which is natural.
which is natural and it's how human beings,
Just as
normally
long as
existed.
if you're in bear territory, make sure you dig a hole and bury it.
Yeah. So that is where you can get called a registered sex offender.
Yes.
Low level
Oh yeah.
registered sex offender.
Which then you'll have to go through a whole investigation if you try to have a child. Just from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So yet again, another discrimination that makes life impossible. And anyway, now I have left our viewers pretty disgusted about the whole situation.
Well, it's not a pretty conversation either.
Yeah, they're probably freaking out because this is what we're doing. So anyway, if you guys want to fight back and change this system, one thing you can do is help us down here at the Vigil, and I want to get some vouchers that I can be entrusted with funds coming in on behalf of the Vigil. Will you guys back me on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mayor is very trusted and
Oh, yes.
definitely,
All right. I'm
Definitely
not
got
making myself
funds.
rich here.
she is definitely not making herself
You've seen that.
rich.
You've
She's
seen
probably
that.
going to debt over the coffee she bought here.
Shit. Yeah, that's fine.
You took out your third mortgage
Not a
on
very
that
happy
coffee,
Third
husband,
mortgage on
actually,
the
probably.
On the apartment.
Not a very happy husband, huh?
Yeah, well, I push him. He's a big time supporter of this Vigil. He's my right hand man, and he's down here in spirit.
You have to have the support. I don't know.
Obviously,
Yeah.
for me to be here every other night.
It'd
But
cause a divorce, I
so
think.
so we will continue to beef up the Vigil, but we are about to do something to make it a lot safer. And I just talked to Sisters in Strength, and they are going to help me in this. You know that our favorite, let's see, Marjorie is serving food every Tuesday at around 8 that she cooks. This is going to be her 3rd week. So we are talking about having a day where we do something down here, weekly on a different day. And we're going to ask different caucuses to do something basically every night to fill up that week. And I'm still going forward with putting out several boxes. I can't put any more boxes like Mr. 60s, but I can put several of them on a trailer and park that here. So we're about to do that.
I could sit under the little thing. If they don't want it tied to a tree, I'll sit under it so it stays even for someone. How about that?
Nice.
They untied it the other day from a tree. Colonel's house thing.
Yeah?
They untied it from the tree so it was wobbling.
Oh, they didn't
Yeah.
like it. He
Yeah.
was out here?
Yeah.
Colonel's
No,
RV.
you're mistaken.
Oh,
You're mistaken.
who is it? What?
Cameron's is
Who's?
Cameron's structures what got untied from the tree.
Oh,
Colonel, I
oh.
don't know if Colonel got fucked with pieces.
Yeah, someone said that they
Yeah.
untied it.
Yeah. We have, okay,
I'll
all right,
want
all right.
1 million of those.
That
Oh, yeah,
was,
we gotta have a
I'll-
billion of those.
I want 8 of those, at least 8.
it's,
At least 8. We'll all take shifts. Every
Okay.
other night somebody will get one.
if you guys don't know what we're talking about, there's a video that has the word Colonel in it. And you can watch that, especially toward the end.
Instructions on how to make it.
Ah, I wish. I wish.
I know, I want
It
one
is.
of those.
It is fantastic.
Those
It's like a
materials.
it's a bike trailer that is pretty much like an RV.
It's like, yeah,
It looks like a
it's a
Japanese
sleeping
hotel.
chamber. It's like a
Yeah.
sleeping chamber that you.
We're gonna put a
tug on
flat
your bike.
screen. We're gonna make a little joke, flat screen fake TV, and stick it on there, and like put like a Hello Kitty or something that looks Japanese on it. I don't know. Anyway,
It should have some.
it does. It looks like a Japanese
rainwater
hotel.
collector purifier connected to it.
Right, and a green roof.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Screw it, let's
Yeah.
just make an earth ship on City Hall.
Yeah, let's make an Earth ship on City Hall. So anyway, so this plan to have several carts, we're gonna have a lot more sleeping bags, and I'm buying stuff because I did get some cash from Spokes Council, and there was a donation made online, And you can make a donation here if you're on the Ustream, which is ustream.tv/channel/vigil-tv. So if you're watching on live stream and you see this, it's Vigil TV on Ustream. And if you want to make a donation, that's what I'm doing with the Ustream money. That's why I'm actually started doing Ustream, was so that we could raise money for the Vigil. And that was, you know, my easiest way of doing it.
People need to be aware too.
Yeah.
People need to know what's going on.
That's why I
hand.
started.
Yeah.
That's not.
And also having
it's
the
turned
camera
into.
on
Yeah.
is also a good protection too against.
Yeah, I am definitely video documenting too, and not necessarily live stream. When I do video documentation, I'm paranoid, so I do it just.
Every time I see a
hard copy.
officers trying to arrest anyone, I get my phone and I have it on, which everyone needs to do to protect everyone else.
Yeah.
If you see the police harassing anyone, please stand by and make sure no one's getting violated, please.
Oh, it's my hubby. It's okay, I can push back. What the hell does that mean?
Nice.
I don't even know what that meant. We said that he was the right-hand man, and that he must.
You said you can push him.
I can push him.
Or that you push him.
I push him. Okay, yeah. I love you, baby. So anyway, if you want to,
Oh, how sweet. Oh.
if you guys want to help out the Vigil, I am endorsed by my friends here as honest, and I will put the money toward
You're fired,
what we're
Mary.
doing. Yeah, damn it. Nameless, except for Nameless, says I'm fired. But yeah,
Mary, you're
so
awesome.
so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get us that trailer, okay? And I don't think it's gonna cost us too much to do it, but I am gonna get that for us. So I just want to let you know that that trailer is gonna have info booth. It's gonna have some a way of having a camp stove and some stuff that we need there.
Don't worry, that's just the dog.
And we're going to also do different caucuses, different tribes or whatnot from Spokes are going to be able to use a trailer, you know, for their needs and rotate that out. So anyway, we've got some plans. Sisters in Strength is going to help me set that up, but we do need some money. So if you guys want to chip in, that would be great. It's just going to go to the Vigil for us to do whatever we need to do. So I'm going to sign out and thank Mo and thank Austin, a repeat guest. And I'm going to charge up. But the good news is I'm charging from the truck. So I can go on if there's some crazy thing going on and I have to. I'll just put it right from the truck, even though the lighting's not great. So I'll probably be back a lot sooner than when I have to go over to the Circle E.
I am.
Anyway, we hope that you get your dog back. Ernie, this is a good time to tell you that probably in the morning I'm going to Troutdale. Mo's kicking over like $5 so that we can get out there. And so I'm going to do that in the morning because they have her dog. And we're going to go see if we can get him. He's that Love, Pete. So can you give me a holler? Is everything okay with that? Or you can text me either way. I just want to make sure. I wonder how long it takes for somebody to write back. Or if he's still there. Are you still there? Look at Austin. Aw. Okay, well I will find out. Maybe he'll text me or say so. But anyway, our plan is right now to go to Troutdale first thing tomorrow morning and try to get Pete back. And
He's my life. He's the only thing I have in this world left.
he's very, very important to all of us. He's a beautiful dog.
He's medicine for all.
Yeah, he is. He's a good
Yes.
community member.
I mean,
That companion
Nameless,
animal.
it's a very good thing because he hasn't had an animal that will just like lay back and let him do pretty much anything to him, you know? My dog lets, I mean, you know.
Like a kid.
Oh yeah, like
That's
big
so
baby.
funny.
Oh yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, we will be back very soon. I would guess probably, I'll give it probably 30 minutes. I'm going to go serve up some coffee and then I'll be back. And so live stream if you want to get on the celly and let me know to stay away longer because you're going to play something that takes longer, just give me a holler, okay? Love you guys.